What happens when rising tensions in the Middle East, growing pressure from China, and a heated election season all collide at the same time? Today, America is facing one of its most unpredictable political moments in years, and the decisions made right now could reshape global power, financial markets, and even the future of U.S. leadership. From Washington to Tehran, from Taiwan to the campaign trail, here are the biggest stories dominating the United States today. The biggest international story connected to America remains the rapidly shifting situation with Iran. After weeks of military escalation and fears of a wider regional conflict, U.S. officials are now signaling cautious optimism about possible negotiations. President Donald Trump recently stated that talks are moving in the right direction, though military options remain on the table. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important oil shipping routes, continues to be at the center of global concern. Even small disruptions there can affect fuel prices worldwide, including inside the United States. Meanwhile, debates are intensifying inside Congress. Lawmakers from both parties are questioning how much military authority the White House should have without congressional approval. For ordinary Americans, the stakes are simple: higher oil prices, economic uncertainty, and the possibility of another major conflict overseas. At the same time, the United States is making major strategic moves in Europe. Reports suggest Washington is reviewing troop deployments across NATO countries, including possible shifts involving Poland and Germany. American officials say the goal is to strengthen NATO's eastern defenses as tensions with Russia continue. The Biden-era European strategy has now evolved under Trump's renewed leadership style, focusing heavily on military leverage and pressure diplomacy. For NATO allies, these troop movements are more than symbolic. They signal how seriously the U.S. views growing instability in Europe and the possibility of future confrontations involving Russia. The message coming from Washington is clear: America intends to remain the dominant military force inside the NATO alliance. Another major concern for U.S. officials is China. Relations between Washington and Beijing have become increasingly tense following reports tied to Taiwan defense cooperation. China views Taiwan as part of its territory, while the United States continues supporting Taiwan's ability to defend itself. Recent reports indicate that planned diplomatic engagements between the two countries have slowed as tensions rise. Military analysts warn that Taiwan remains one of the most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints in the world today. Any serious escalation there could impact global trade, technology supply chains, and financial markets almost instantly. For the United States, balancing support for Taiwan while avoiding direct conflict with China has become one of the defining challenges of modern foreign policy. Back home, the political atmosphere inside the United States is becoming more intense by the day. Trump-backed candidates are winning key Republican primary races ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, showing that Donald Trump still holds enormous influence over the Republican Party. At the same time, Democrats are trying to frame the upcoming elections around economic stability, healthcare, and protecting democratic institutions. With inflation concerns still affecting many households and international conflicts dominating headlines, voters are entering the election season with growing anxiety about America's future direction. Political experts believe the 2026 midterms could become one of the most important elections in modern American history. Economic uncertainty is also rising again. Oil market instability linked to Middle East tensions has increased concerns about inflation and fuel prices. Americans are already watching prices carefully after years of economic pressure, following global supply chain disruptions and earlier inflation spikes. The Federal Reserve's leadership transition is adding another layer of uncertainty as investors closely monitor future interest rate decisions. For businesses, families, and financial markets, the next few months could become critical in determining whether the U.S. economy stabilizes or faces another difficult slowdown. So today, the United States stands at a crossroads. International tensions are rising. Election battles are intensifying. Economic uncertainty continues to pressure families across the country. And while leaders in Washington project confidence, The reality is that the world is entering a period of major geopolitical change. The question now is not whether America will face challenges, but how far those challenges will reshape the country's future. Stay informed, stay aware, and keep watching, because the next few months could define the next decade of American politics and global power.